So welcome all of you and welcome JaneStorm. Super excited about the conversation today. I have had the privilege of working with Jane for over a year now as she's moved through her coach training. She's on the tail end of the PCC cohort, so we're really excited about what she's doing with that. She has been doing some really fun things with different groups in her coaching practice. So Jane, welcome. I'm going to invite you to take over, and I'm going to invite you to go ahead and tell them more about you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to share my screen. And can you see that, Kathy?
It's perfect. You're all Excellent. Good to go.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about 4 tips for coaches to earn client loyalty. In the chat, Kathy, or Kath, can you put up a poll?
Yes, and while I launched this and everybody is responding, do tell us more about you, Jane.
Yes, I will. So, hi. Boom! I am JaneStorm. My mission today is to wow you, to make you walk away with some really, really cool answers to questions that you have about loyalty. My mission in life with JaneStorm is to clear your mind clutter. I am a chief brainstormer. I managed the business-to-business loyalty program for Verizon for 15 years, actually 18 years, called Small Biz Rewards. Some people thought of it as my 3rd child. I have 2 kids, 19 and 22, and I loved my job. I was loyal to it, and it's something that I became an evangelist in Verizon, and when I became a coach, loyalty was still one of the most important things to me. I am in a cohort, as Kathy mentioned, with 9 amazing coaches from around the country, and we are in a fire hose of information from the Center for Coaching Certification to get our PCC from the International Coach Federation.
Awesome. So we have had about 75% voted. And here are the results at this point, Jane.
Great. Okay. All right. So I am an over-the-top loyalty person myself. You'll see that as we go through. For those that are depends, hopefully we'll get you to the other side. And the ones that want to tell me at the end, I can't wait to hear. So here's the agenda. What's in it for you? First things first. That you'll find out in a minute what that's about. What is loyalty? The 4 R's of loyalty. Tips to create loyalty. Another JaneStorm poll, and what's next? So when you think of loyalty, you first have to clear your mind clutter. As a coach, there are things that you need to do in order to stay present and stay in the master of coaching. So you need to know your mission and your vision. You need to have a website. It needs to be interactive, or it needs to be refreshed, so when people go there, there's something that they're getting when they get there. You don't want to just have people go to your website with nothing to do there. You want to network. It's so important to create other relationships with people. You know, coaching is about cooperation, it's about collaboration, it's about co-creating, and you can do that with networking. It makes a huge difference. Social media. You may not think that you are making a difference on social media. Let me tell you, you are. You have no idea how many people you are impacting. So if you don't get likes, if you aren't getting interaction, try a video. It makes a huge difference. You'll start to see who's looking at your stuff. You'll see how much more interaction you're getting. Also, Do Facebook and now LinkedIn stories and Instagram stories. You'll see who's looking at your stuff. It makes a difference. Many of my clients have seen my social media over the years, and they've come back to me and said, oh, I've been watching you on social media. I wanted to know more. Google, so easy. If you are looking for reviews and you've gotten your reviews from clients on Facebook and on LinkedIn, send them a Google link. Make sure that you're on Google Business. It is a huge, huge opportunity that many coaches are missing right now. Podcasts. I've been on 11 podcasts in the last 4 months. I'm planting seeds, planning on growing a garden. All of you should be thinking about, what are you an expert in? Where can you impact? Who are the people that you are looking for? And get on podcasts with those types of audiences so that you can impact your audience. And then, as we talked about, you can still be unique and collaborate. It's very, very important to be unique, know who you are, know your mission and vision, but also to collaborate, because it ups your game and it gives you the opportunity to see what others are doing. So what is loyalty? You know, I've been in the business a long time, for over 20 years, talking about loyalty. And loyal customers don't just come back. They don't simply recommend you. They insist that their friends do business with you. That's from Chip Bell. Loyalty is a long-term strategy. It is not acquisition. It is not a widget. I used to have to sing arias in Verizon to get people to believe in my loyalty program, because it took so long for us to get results. So be patient with this long-term strategy. You have to build relationships and positivity and engage with your clients and do research. You want to have connections to clients' needs. Get them to buy into you. Get them to buy into your brand. My brand is JaneStorm. To clear your mind clutter, I want people to buy into my brand. You want to have two-way communication. Surveys, one of the easiest ways to do it. SurveyMonkey is free. Ask surveys, take polls, do fun things. Don't always ask the hard questions. Ask some fun questions too and get them to engage. And by the way, when you actually ask questions in surveys and you get feedback, use it. Verizon was notorious for asking questions and then not using it. You need to listen to your clients and your marketing niche. And engagement. You need to nourish and nurture and have them repeat the behavior. So you may wonder why we have dogs at the bottom, but the truth of the matter is, when you are a coach and when you were trying to go after client loyalty, you may feel like you have a dog with a bone. You are a dog with a bone. And really, truthfully, we are in the service business. So when you're out there, think of those two adorable dogs as you move forward building your client base. So what are the 4 R's of loyalty? Are you ready? Reputation. Why bother? Referrals. They do lead to revenue. Retention. Take care of the client. It's all about the client. And revenue, you want to track towards prosperity. So let's start with reputation. If you make customers unhappy in the physical world, they each might tell 6 friends. If you make customers unhappy on the internet, they can each tell 6,000 friends. Many of you have probably experienced this in local groups within your towns. If there is someone that says something negative, it explodes across the internet. But you can do the same thing with positive things. And it's important when you are going after your clients that you realize that loyal clients give you respect and they expect respect back. They react to what you are telling them. And when you get them to react, they'll then refer. So when you get respect, clients will react by referring you by word of mouth and with online and referrals. Did you know that 57% of consumers spend more on brands to which they are loyal? Let me say that again. 57% of consumers spend more on brands to which they are loyal. Loyalty is something to go after in coaching. So why bother with loyalty? When I was doing research on loyalty, I found information about Patagonia. Now I have to tell you, my son went to college last year and he wanted to go into expeditionary studies, which is to learn to be a leader in the outdoor world. Yes, that is actually a college degree. Fast forward a year and he has moved on, but he still loved that program. And one day he came home and he said, Mom, I want to buy a Patagonia jacket. I almost died when I saw the price of it. I couldn't believe how expensive it was. So when you're thinking about Patagonia, this is what comes to mind when I read their website. Share your beliefs, communicate what inspires your particular aesthetic. Those that believe what you believe will become part of your tribe. And then when I was doing this research, I read about a woman who I actually contacted. Her name is Valerie Vidala, and she is from Wells Fargo, and she's a VP. And she put this up on LinkedIn, a post. A few months ago, I bought my daughter a Patagonia coat from a thrift store. What can I say? I had to pay retail. It seemed to be in pristine condition until we got it home and realized that the front zipper kept separating. My first thought was caveat emptor, throw it away. But before I did, I sent Patagonia an email and asked if they could repair it. They promptly replied with a postage page mailing label for me to send them the coat to see if it could be repaired. Today I came home to find a box with the coat sporting a brand new zipper and the enclosed thank you note. So I'm going to read you the thank you note because I thought this is what it's all about, guys. It's really creating the relationship. They sent the new coat and they sent this thank you note. More and more these days, people throw out anything that's broken. That's unfortunate because while some things are beyond repair, a lot of stuff can be fixed in a jiffy. As consumers, the best thing we can do for the planet is to keep our stuff in use longer, thereby reducing the need to buy more. So thank you for sending your gear for us for repair and for being loyal to the threads that have carried you up mountains and maybe even passed down through generations. If you'd like to share your Worn Your Wear story, we'd love to hear it on wornwear.com. From our sewing machine to yours, Patagonia. I love that. My son owns a Patagonia coat now, and I can tell you that because of this and because of what Valerie said on LinkedIn, I went and dug in and found out more. And I just think that's what we want to do. We want to create such great experiences as coaches, and we want to send thank yous, and we want to create a relationship with our clients so that they trust us to want to go out and tell others about us. So when you think of referrals, you know, one customer well taken care of could be more valuable than $10,000 worth of advertising. Referred customers are 25% more profitable, have a 37% higher retention rate, and are 84% more loyal. 84% of customers trust recommendations from people they know, according to Inc. magazine. So, you know what Dropbox did? And I highly recommend going and looking this up. Dropbox did a referral program 2 or 3 years ago. And they sent out an email strategy to about 100 to 4 million users. And actually, I take that back. They sent it to 2.8 million direct referral invites, asking their customers to refer other customers. They grew referrals 3,900% in 15 months. They went from 100,000 referrals to 4 million in 15 months. It became part of their onboarding. They positioned it as refer a friend. When they were able to do it, friends got more space on Dropbox as well as the referee. They made it easy to share, and they made sure it worked well and was scalable. Most of us have little businesses, but just think of how they thought out of the box, and they were able to increase referrals 3,900%. We all have the ability to increase what we have today. So I'd love to hear from some of you guys in the chat, or you can come live and tell me, what strategies are you using to capture referrals today?
And if you do want to come live, I have to set that up. So give me a message in the chat box and I can invite you in live. Please note we are recording. It is going on YouTube. So we just want to make sure you know that and are comfortable with that. So in the meantime, yes, get those questions in the strategies. And Jane, I'll throw out one and let you throw out one while they're all thinking. So I know that one thing I learned early in my coaching career, they said, when you have a client that reaches out and says, hey, I just want to thank you, something really amazing as a result of the work and that kind of thing, it's a great time to ask them if they're willing to give you a referral. So that's one idea I was given. And everybody, put your thoughts in the chat box. And Jane, while you're waiting, let's hear another from you.
Yeah, and I would say also, do you know that 65% of a company's business comes from existing customers? So you want to ask your customers for referrals. You can do it. I've done things as easy as sending out a video text to my clients and asking how they're doing, and then also saying, hey, and do you have someone in your life that needs to clear their mind clutter? Can you refer them to me? Something easy, something direct, easy, and asking for what you want is how you want to do this.
Yeah. And a couple of people have put things in the chat box. One is, anytime someone says something positive about my work, I ask if they know anyone else who might find it useful. Asking existing customers to recommend them, asking clients for it directly, saying that that's the best compliment they could pay me, which is true. That's a good one.
Yeah.
When someone is successful and excited, ask them to please refer me to their friends. They get most of their business that way. ICF cites it as one of the top 2 sources of clients for coaches.
Yeah, there's a lot about referrals, and I think we don't always spend the time thinking about that because we're so busy on other parts of our business. But if you think about how people know, love, and trust you and are loyal to you and want others to know, that's when you're going to get the magic. You'll get the secret sauce.
Yeah. So a question came in, should you pay for referrals? And I know that I can speak to it in terms of the code of ethics. If you pay for a referral, you must disclose that to the client that got referred. So a recommendation there is, hey, if you refer somebody to me and they become a client, you both get some sort of discount or gift card or whatever it is you're going to do. And then alternatively, I'd be cautious about paying for them because that can get you in trouble if you don't disclose it. So
I agree. I think there's other things that you need to pay for as a coach, and I'm not sure referrals is the right way to go.
Good.
Anything more, or should I move on, Kathy?
Looks like everybody is done in terms of putting their comments in, so you're good to go.
Great. So how do you create prosperity. You know, imagine yourself 6 months from now. Don't stop. It's going to be worth it. When you think of how to create prosperity, you need to take the risks. Do you love my umbrella at the top? Once again, bringing it back to JaneStorm. I'm creating an umbrella for customers that may be going through the storm. And there are going to be times that we're going to climb over the umbrella to get to the other side. My mother always says, throw spaghetti at the wall. I have spent a lot of time since March planting seeds to grow a garden because we are in a state of pandemic and life has changed. But as coaches, we are so needed. So you need to figure out, where are you going to be used the most and how can you take a risk in that situation? And perhaps it's on social media. Perhaps you've been fighting doing video. Perhaps you haven't done a newsletter yet. There's so many different ways that you can take risks that will make a difference. Collaborate with someone that you may have thought wouldn't have worked and see how it goes. It may turn into one of the best things that's ever happened. I can't say enough how important it is to track your results. You know, you have to look at your results. You need to analyze them. If that is not something in your wheelhouse, hire someone to support you. I can connect you with people. I know people that track results. You can get tracking results for social media. You should be tracking results on your return on investment for clients coming in. Many, many coaches are not finding their value and they're not charging enough. This is a way to see how you're tracking your results and how over time you can make a difference for your own bottom line. And then time management. Oh my gosh, time blocking. You know, I was on a call this morning with a fellow coach and she had to share her calendar with me. And it was one of the most beautiful calendars I ever saw. It was every color of the rainbow. And you know, in that, she has each day blocked off for herself to do her own work. So it's really important as coaches, because we're now spending 7 days a week, 24 hours. You have to put in what matters to you and how much time you want to spend on each. And one of the ways you can do that is by using Calendly or another, Thrive or something along those lines, where you can connect your calendars and then set up appointments with your clients based on what you put out for them. Another thing that has changed my life in the last couple of months after being coached in the cohort are Rocketbooks. Let me tell you, if you don't know about Rocketbook, get in touch with me. I'll give you a little lesson on it. Okay, this is really, really cool. You actually put, especially for us coaches, so you write everything in the Rocketbook, and then you have an app on your phone. And the Rocketbook app, you then take a picture, and then that downloads to anywhere that you send it on your computer. Oh my gosh, it is the coolest thing in the world. So the best part about it is that you can then transfer it into text. So, it's just a great way when you are taking notes throughout the week or calendars or things that you want to do, having to only do it once. Because so many of us still love to handwrite instead of type all the time. I know Kathy Lisker is the typing extraordinaire. That is not JaneStorm. So I am still a writer. And then also looking into a virtual assistant is really a great thing. You have to figure out where to spend your money. If your website's not up to date, if you have so many things going on, you need to find the people that can help you and be your trust team to get your clients and your business to move forward. And then probably the most important thing as a coach is we need to create multiple streams of income. I have now learned this over the last 10 months. We want to be sitting at that stream creating residual income. We want to be at the beach and have money come in. We want to have money come in while we're sitting on our couch. That's where collaboration comes in, and getting involved with other people that know how to create residual income. Tom Corley, author of Rich Habits, did a 5-year study, and he found 65% of self-made millionaires had 3 streams of income. 29% blogging. You know, you can blog. You can get involved with training. You know, many of us coaches were trainers in the past. You can be a profitably public speaker, a great way to get your name out there and people to know what you do. You can write a book. Many, many authors are coaches. I'd love to hear others that you guys may have, and Kathy, you could chime in.
Yeah, let's see. So speaker, training, author, group webinars, consulting, speak to groups, and then also coaching individually. So those are examples. Somebody said they have 3 different streams. So we're getting that. Tracking toward 3 in the short term and 5 in the midterm in terms of streams of income.
Great.
So,
I love that.
Yeah. Writing a book, doing training. Yes. You know, and another product that I think a lot of coaches have opportunity with is when you think about your niche market and who you're going after, having workbooks or training materials that people can work through independently, and then being able to sell that. White papers, instead of writing a full book, you can sell white papers and smaller amount. At the same time, it's an opportunity. A question came in on how do you earn money from blogs? Do you want to explain that, Jane?
So what you need to do is you want to get onto a place with blogs where they are giving advertising dollars. So what happens is the more popular you become as a blogger, the more likely it is that advertisers are going to want to come to your blog. A perfect example of someone like that are 2 come to mind. One is Glennon Doyle. She started as a blogger, and now she makes residual income and advertising. And Brene Brown also. You know, they started as bloggers, and then they've created income because advertisers see the following they have, and then they want to pay to have their advertising done on their blog. And then Dory Clark is another person that also is a coach out there, and she does a really good job. And Kathy Liska, you must also get some income from advertising for blogging, or no?
Actually, I haven't gone there.
Okay. So. But Kathy Liska could, and that could be a new thing for Kathy. Wait and see.
Too funny.
Okay, are we ready to move on?
Looks like it based on the chat box. So
Great.
People liking the options. Awesome.
So when you're thinking of how you track for results for your revenue, how are you doing that? How are you guys delivering and tracking your results? Because we talked about how important it is. So are there tools that you're using that are getting you past the Excel spreadsheet and are helping you connect the dots to how much you're making and how much you're spending to get the results that you want for your business to track to being a millionaire?
So I'm guessing you're looking for more answers in the
Yes.
chat box, everybody. So do get those in. Of course, when you said it the way you said it, I think, well, one of the more obvious things is the simple budgeting and looking at what money's going out and what money's coming in and analyzing that.
Yes. And then also, you know, there are different programs that you can sign up for that will take you through, you know, you're spending X amount of money on your social media, because you guys should know that, like right now, Facebook ads are so inexpensive. So if you're trying to build your following on Facebook, or you want people to go to your business page on Facebook, you can do that by setting up an ad. And for $15 or $20, you're going to get people to come over. And you want to look into things like that. And then you want to analyze the results, because it doesn't always make sense. But as you're creating ads, or as you're looking for ways to get customers to you and to stay with you, you want to do that type of work.
Excellent. So comments, recurrent meetings with accountant, spreadsheets, weekly monitoring of the real versus the goal.
Love that. That's great. That's great. Excellent. Excellent.
Awesome. And I think you're complete on that one.
Okay. So when we think of customers and the top 4 tips for loyalty, they are surprise and delight. Do you know that 61% of consumers think surprise gifts and offers are the most important way a brand can interact with them? So think of how easy that is. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It could be a postcard in the mail saying thank you and thinking about you. It could be, wow, this may be odd for people. It could be a phone call instead of a Zoom, or a face-to-face, or an email or a text. You could actually pick up the phone and talk to your clients and thank them. You could send something small to them, making sure that you're thinking of, knowing that they know that you're thinking about them. We talked about thinking out of the box. You know, 56% of customers stay loyal to brands who get them, and 89% of customers stay loyal to brands who share their values. So when you're thinking of thinking out of the box, think about who your niche is and what their values are, and then go for it and come up with the sky's the limit, think out of the box. We did that a lot in Verizon, and that's one of the ways that JaneStorm came about. So, 3 years ago, I left Verizon, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do, but I knew after running Relay for Life for the American Cancer Society for 8 years as the volunteer chair, and then being involved with Verizon in marketing and loyalty, that I had the ability to be a coach. And then I say kismet, I say Kathy and I were supposed to meet. I found her online, and my life changed forever, because I thought I was a coach until I came through. And now I know how hard it is to be a coach. And if you know how hard it is to be a coach, I'd love for you to say yes in the chat box. And so what happens is, I show up 3 years ago at my loyalty vendor, and it's down in Florida, and there's a huge sign on the wall, and it says JaneStorm. And I turn around in the boardroom, and everybody in the room has brown hair and has purple on, because that's my signature. And I said, what are you people doing? And they said, Jane, when you show up, we don't brainstorm, we JaneStorm, because you connect people with ideas better than anybody we know. So let me tell you, if you need thinking out of the box ideas, get in touch with me. I love to brainstorm. It's part of who I am, and I love to think out of the box. The other thing is surveys. Yes, surveys, guys. Low-hanging fruit is what I call that. This is when people love to tell you what they think. The one thing I will say, and I said it earlier on, if you do survey your customers, you have to use their information, or at least the majority of the information. Or don't ask the question of something that you don't want to implement, because that is the biggest failure. Customers and clients want to see follow through when they are asked something. So did we get a bunch of yeses, Kathy?
Yeah, and I want to add something to what you just said. Sometimes you have to tell them you're using the answers and how you're using them. because they don't know. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 of you know how hard it is to be a coach. We must have a lot of people out there that haven't done coach training yet. So because I was thinking I was going to see a lot more than that in here. So, yeah. Come on, everybody. Is it hard to be a coach? I mean, I think it's so much easier just to give the answer, and it's really hard to be a coach.
Yeah, yeah. And then, you know, the last is really keep it simple, silly. You know, really, it's really keep it short and simple.
Yes.
Because really, clients look for clear, easy, direct. We see it with questions. We see it with our messaging. If you have a clear vision and mission, and you have a clear way to communicate with your customers, you're going to see your client base expand exponentially. And you will see them become loyal because they'll start to tell others your little tidbits. You'll hear people telling people what you do, and that is what you want. You want to cause a ripple effect of loyalty wherever you go. And you want it to be something that they know is something easy and simple for them to discuss and explain what you do and how you do it. There are so many more tips, and you can go to my website, which I'll tell you about at the end of this, and click to get more tips. And then I'll send you the document, and you'll be able to get the rest of the tips on loyalty.
Nice. And we did get more yeses in with that, so that was good. One sounds really interesting to me. It's like, depending on if the client is willing to accept coaching. And I'm thinking, even clients that want coaching, sometimes I just want to give my own thoughts or ideas, and I know I can't, and that's what's challenging about it. Or sometimes they're stuck and asking enough questions so that they discover their own answer can be challenging. So, yeah.
You know, one of the things that we've been learning this year through Kathy and our cohort is how it's so important to know that less is more, to know that asking questions to understand and holding space makes such a difference.
Yeah.
And when you do those things and you are working with your clients, they'll see it and they'll say, yes, I had an aha moment. And that's what we're all striving for, is those aha moments. You know, you're not a coach because you don't want to help people. We're here because we want to help people. That is part of the service that we are giving people. And when we can take it and make it simple enough that others can learn about us, it is just the golden nugget for moving forward.
Oh, that was such a good message. I got to share, I just learned something. Somebody put in the chat box, and it teaches us how important the words in the question. We asked, you know, is coaching hard? And they said it's more of a challenge as opposed to being hard. So the wording of the question, that was a really good pushback. So thank you for that. And I think you're complete on the chats for that one.
Okay. You know, and it's funny, I'm looking at my desk, and for people that are on here that know Jane, you know I have a lot of stuff on my desk. But I have to say that this just showed up, it came to me, and I wanted to share it. And I'll tell you what it says, because it really goes to the top tips for loyalty. It says, be bold, be brave, and be kind. And I think all of us know that it is so important, especially at this time in history, that we have to be bold in what we believe. We have to be brave through this time in history, and we have to be kind. So as you think of that, what are ways you can apply these tips to your business? Once again, if anybody wants to come on live and say it out loud, we'd love to have you. If there's anybody that just wants to put it in the chat, just let us know. But what are ways you can apply tips to loyalty to your business. So once again, surprise and delight, think out of the box, surveys, keeping it simple, being bold, be brave, be kind. What have you done in your business to create loyalty?
And while they're thinking about it, to share with you, so many people, when you said be bold, be brave, and be kind, they loved it. You got a lot of comments on that. So good there. Let's see, the first one on this, do a survey soon. Another one was kept the price reasonable. Excellent. What else are you doing? Let's see, built a great reputation, started asking a lot for referrals, want to keep working on that.
I have to tell you that I want to go back to video for a minute, because we've all heard about video. Some of us are doing it. Some are saying, I don't want to be on video. I recently did a test, and I would say do tests. So I recently did a test where I did a flat social media post, and I did a video media post. There were 40% more interaction on the video than on the social media post that was flat. So just take baby steps. And if you need to, invite another coach to come on with you, because you could just have so much fun. And don't make it long. It shouldn't be long. We have attention spans of a gnat. My mom always says when she sends messages to her kids, she puts the whole email in the subject line, because no one reads an email anymore. So you don't want things to be too long. And you want to check with others when you're getting ready. You know, there are group sessions you can do. There are individual clients that you can go after. Just try it out, and then say thank you, and figure out how you can create a relationship built on trust and wanting people to want to know more about you and giving them your personality, because in coaching, that's what's selling us. It's our personalities. So if you aren't willing to put yourself out there with your personality, then you're not going to ever reach the pinnacle of millionaire status without doing that.
Good thoughts. So a couple of things that people shared in the process, keeping a close look at what the client wants and needs, and making sure they're doing recurrent reviews with the client to make sure they're aligned. Somebody else said keeping it simple, trying to be in too many places and then getting overwhelmed. Yeah, that doesn't work for any of us. Yep. Video definitely feels intimidating, and they also said yes, they want to do it. So way to go, you. Getting more views on lives when they appear impromptu. Oh, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Blogging hit home for somebody else. So lots of good thoughts and insights there. Thanks, everyone.
And then, you know, when you think, let me just go back to this for a minute. When you're thinking of your experience on social media, know your client base. So Instagram has its own client base. Facebook has another, and then LinkedIn has one. And then there's Pinterest, which is, by the way, a minefield that so many people haven't even touched in coaching. And there are others out there, but the big three players really know who you are going after and how to build that audience. Because with LinkedIn, it takes a long time. And one of the things is always, always, always comment on other people's posts. And when you're commenting, tag them back, because that's how you move up. And it also give your expertise. So don't just say like, but tell the other people that are commenting, give a reason why you're commenting, so that they understand that you know your information and where it's coming from. Small things that make a huge difference. We go back to Google for a minute. You know, if you post on Google, you want to get at least 10 Google reviews because it moves you up on the algorithm. So go to places like LinkedIn, Facebook, where you've asked people to give you your review, and then send them the Google link, the Google My Business link, and have them fill that out. Because that way you're increasing, when people Google your coaching business, you want to be like JaneStorm. You want to take up a whole page. You want to be unique and something that people want to go find out more. And that's done by building up Google My Business. So I'd love to know, in this Facebook poll, what percentage of customers spend more when they feel connected to a brand? Is it A, 86%, B, 93%, or C, 78%?
Okay, everybody, it's up on your screen. Please click which one you think it is. And of course, the faster we can get everybody clicking on the screen, literally right in the poll, the faster we'll be able to close that poll result out and share it.
And do we have any comments or questions over in the chat box, Kathy?
Let's see, somebody said Pinterest is a fabulous and creative suggestion. Somebody else said Yelp. A couple of people are putting their poll answers in the chat box instead of in the poll. That's because certain devices, depending on how you're logged into this webinar, may not give you the option of actually clicking on the answer in the poll. So far, we've got 68% voted, so there's a few more of you that haven't voted yet.
The other one to know is Alignable. You know, Alignable is hyper local. But when you're thinking about it, Alignable has figured out how to get recommendations. So look into Alignable. It's becoming more popular, and it goes along the lines of Yelp. And it really, people are starting to see that work in their local markets. And if anybody knows of other places that people as coaches should be looking at to network or to build their base, we'd love to hear about that in the chat as well.
Yeah, so another comment in the chat is Thumbtack. Somebody asked which one you were saying again, and it's called Alignable. I'll type that answer in, and then in the meantime, Jane, I'm going to share the results of the poll.
Wow, so very good. 93% is the right answer. So 50% of you got that right. So 93% of customers spend more when they feel connected to a brand. So if you are sitting here thinking, my name is Susie Schwab and I don't have a brand, you need to go back to first things first on the beginning of this presentation, because you are your brand. And there is so much that goes into having your brand and using it wisely. So know that when you use your brand, hence JaneStorm, 93% of customers will feel more connected. Will spend more with me if they feel connected to JaneStorm. So know that as you move forward.
Awesome.
So here's the recap. The 4 R's of loyalty: reputation, referrals, retention, and revenue. Loyalty is a long-term strategy. Go for the long game. My word for 2020 is patience. I was on a podcast the other day and she asked me what my favorite curse word was. And I actually said patience. Because you know what? It is the positive and negative side of a Gemini. I try to be patient, and this year is teaching all of us patience. And when you are dealing with loyalty, it's all about having a patient long-term strategy. Referrals create revenue. Tracking creates time. And test ideas and be true to you. So as you're collaborating, And as you're looking around at social media and looking at what every other coach is doing, because I know you are, I know you're looking, remember, you do you. You are unique. Stay in your own lane. Cross over lanes when it makes sense. But remember, it's you that people are coming after. It is, you can learn from other coaches, but don't take on what they're doing unless it inspires you. And now I'd love to open up. Are there any questions?
All right, everyone, this is your opportunity. What do you want to ask Jane? And by the way, you are getting some comments in about it being fantastic. If you want to come on live and have a conversation with Jane, please indicate that in the chat box. I can unmute you and give you that option of coming in live. And then, of course, definitely want to hear questions from the rest of you. So what is the ABC to create loyalty?
It's really, creating it is, you have to go back to finding your clients, right? So know who your clients are, thanking them, staying in touch with them, constantly looking at ways to create stickiness so that you're not just meeting with them once, over a 6-month period of time and then letting them go. So it's communication, it's collaboration with them to create their plan moving forward. So for instance, I had a client recently that I work with in January, and I do mind mapping. And she created a vision board mind map. And it was August, and she said, I went out with a video text and said to all of my clients, hey, it's Jane, I'm thinking about you, how are you doing? Simple, it was 30 seconds, video text instead of sending a text or an email. And she came back to me and said, you know what, my mind map is old, I need to redo it again. And we were able to do that. So it's remembering who your clients are, remembering what their needs are, and then creating space and a time for you to go after them.
Nice. Jane, one question came in. For coaches that are really new, what do you recommend is the first thing to focus on?
Getting clients and getting some practice under your belt. So in January 2019, I got my CPC with Kathy, my certified professional coach. And right after that, out of the gate, I fell in love with affirmation stories and mind mapping. And I knew that I had a gift and that I could give that gift to others. I spent the next, to this day, I have had many, many clients. But in the beginning, I had clients, and that taught me so much. So then I went and got more training after I had some clients under my belt. So I would say, talk to other coaches, interview them about what they've done well, have a website, blog, if you're a writer, blog, get your social media up there, start to look at other coaches and how they do it, and find your people that inspire you and start to figure out what makes sense for you.
Yeah, nice. And it's so funny because you're like, get clients, and as if that's, oh, okay, that's an obvious answer, yes. And then the question is, how?
Okay, there's a lot of different ways to get clients. So one of the best ways that I've gotten clients is, and I talk about it a lot, is master networks. So master networks is around the country, and there are tons of different networking organizations. Master networks is the kinder, gentler BNI, is a way that Jane McCarthy talks about it. It's about building relationships, and it's the long-term relationship, which is why I love it. So in master networks, I have met so many different people, and you get to tell a 30-second soundbite, and it gets you down to knowing what you're going to say and what your mission and vision is. So get into, the Rotary Club, your networking organizations. Get on, podcast collaborations, on Facebook. Email me and I'll give you some more information. I mean, there's so many places that you can go after that, and you could start to ask people and say, hey, listen, I'm a new coach. Do you have others that, and start bartering. Barter with others, whatever you have to give, barter with other coaches. I've done it with people from Center for Coaching Certification outside of my cohort, and it has been an amazing experience.
Nice, nice. I think this is a really interesting question. Which clients are better, corporate or private individuals?
It's interesting. I think it depends on what you're looking for. So I started with individual clients because that's what I felt comfortable with at the time, although I worked in corporate America for 30 years. So it took me a little bit of time. I think if you are in the HR training world and you're coming into coaching, that's a little different. The biggest difference is how you can charge. In corporate America, one of the ways that JaneStorm is going to change her trajectory is that I'm looking at going after groups of people and impacting groups of people as well as having individual clients. But I'm starting to change my pie, and my pie may be 80% groups and 20% clients. But once again, it goes back to what's your passion, what's your purpose, and how much time do you have in the day?
Well, yeah, and I think the type of coaching you're doing is different in corporate versus private. And it's, what's your background, what's your experience and expertise, what's your entree, if you will, in the door for the corporate space. So, yeah, good. I think the other big tip on clients, you talked about, the referrals and networking. Another big one is public speaking. And Jane is doing exactly that right now. Getting yourself out there, putting yourself out there, giving people valuable insight and information, and then giving them how they can get in touch with you. So Jane, go for it.
Yes. And so one of the ways that you can get more information and learn more about JaneStorm is you can go to JaneStorm.com and you can click there to get a free toolkit. And then there's going to be a bonus for all the webinar attendees today. You'll be able to get a PDF of 10 tips to gain loyalty, because we gave 4, but there are so many more out there. There are many more tips, and there are many more things to learn. And that's the other thing. When you are a coach, you never stop learning, and you never stop listening. And we're always going to be creating. So know that as you're going forward, and take more classes. Work it out with Kathy. Get into, there are about a dozen people in my life that have impacted my life in my 50+ years. And Kathy Liska is one of them.
Well,
she knows how to coach. She knows how to be a mentor, and she knows how to teach. She's got the trifecta. And if you're looking for stuff and you're looking for an ethical person, she doesn't know I'm saying all this, but it's really the truth. She has erupted my passion and my purpose, but she has grounded me in ethics and the right way to do it. Because there are a lot of coaches out there that have absolutely no credentials. And when you're from a credentialed organization, that's how you get to your corporate America.
That was so nice of you to say. I do want to give you, somebody asked the question, is there a difference between the toolkit and the 10 tips PDF?
Yes, there is. And so, yes. So the toolkit is really just to give you an idea of some of the work that you can do with JaneStorm, and there's some fun activities in there. And then the 10 tips for gaining loyalty is another way. So if you're just want to get the 10 tips to gain loyalty, you could just send me an email at jane@janestorm.com. If you want the toolkit and the 10 tips, go to my website. And really, I'd love to thank you all. Did you know that there is 86,400 seconds in a day? And on average, we speak 16,000 words. My husband would say I probably speak 32,000. But how about if we all took some time today and every other day in some of those seconds to say thank you? What a world we would live in. So I want to thank you. And for more tips on loyalty, workshop facilitation, group coaching, individual coaching, and clearing your mind clutter, get in touch. JaneStorm, a positive force for your future.
Awesome. And Jane, thank you. You were getting so many comments in about how it was inspiring and good information, great tips, a ton of thank yous coming in the chat box. Awesome presentation. That was fun. So good insight, everybody. We will send you the email with a link to it on the YouTube channel. I will CC Jane at her email, so you'll have easy access to her email address that way as well. So thank you.
Thank you. And remember, we're a squad of coaches. We're in this together. Squad goals.